In a bustling neighborhood of a crowded city, where towering skyscrapers touched the clouds and people rushed through their daily lives, there was a small park tucked away in a quiet corner. In this park, on an old wooden bench, sat an elderly woman named Amma Ji every day. Amma Ji was over 70 years old, dressed in simple yet clean clothes, with a serene smile always gracing her face. She would sit on the bench, feeding the birds, chatting with children, and watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and pink. In the same neighborhood lived a young woman named Aisha, a modern and ambitious girl who worked at a big corporate firm. Aisha was always glued to her phone, chasing dreams of a bigger house, a fancier car, and a more glamorous life. But despite her achievements, she felt an emptiness inside. She was constantly stressed, dissatisfied with her salary, and envious of her friends who seemed to have better lives. Her heart was heavy, and her face reflected her discontent. One evening, as Aisha was returning from work, exhausted and frustrated, she slumped onto the same bench where Amma Ji was sitting. She pulled out her phone to check her emails, but her mind was clouded with worry. Amma Ji noticed her troubled expression and said gently, "Dear, why does your face look so sad? This park is a place of peace, where the chirping of birds and the cool breeze can soothe any heart." Aisha sighed deeply and replied, "Amma Ji, I have no reason to be happy. My job doesn't pay enough, my apartment is too small, and my life feels colorless." Amma Ji let out a soft chuckle and said, "Child, happiness isn't something you buy from a store with money. It lives in your heart. Come, let me share my story with you." Aisha looked at Amma Ji with curiosity and settled in to listen. Amma Ji began her tale. She came from a poor family and had faced many hardships in her life. Her husband had passed away years ago, and her only son had moved to another city, leaving her alone. She had no house of her own and lived in a small rented room. Yet, Amma Ji never complained. She said, "Every morning, I wake up and thank God for giving me another day. I come to this park, feed the birds, and find joy in the little things, a warm cup of tea, a child's laughter, or the beauty of a sunset. When you are grateful, you can find happiness in any situation." Amma Ji advised Aisha, "For just one day, forget your troubles and practice gratitude. Each day, write down 3 things you are thankful for." Aisha thought it sounded too simple to make a difference, but she decided to give it a try. That night, she took a small notebook and wrote, "I am grateful for my job, my home, and meeting Amma Ji today." Over the next few weeks, Aisha made gratitude a daily habit. She began noticing the small joys in her life, the aroma of her morning coffee, the smile of a coworker, or the quiet beauty of the park at dusk. Slowly, her perspective shifted. Her heart felt lighter, and she found herself smiling more. She was no longer consumed by what she lacked but was content with what she had. Aisha even started helping others, sharing her positivity with her friends and colleagues. One day, Aisha decided to do something for Amma Ji. She saved some money from her salary and bought a warm shawl and some groceries for her. When she went to the park to give them to Amma Ji, the old woman's eyes filled with tears. She said, "Dear, you didn't just listen to my words, you brought warmth to my heart with this small act of kindness." Aisha's transformation inspired others in the neighborhood. She shared the concept of gratitude with her friends, and soon, people began helping each other in small ways. Some brought food for the elderly, others cleaned the park, and some started storytelling sessions for the children. The park, once just a quiet corner, became a hub of joy and community spirit, all sparked by Amma Ji's simple wisdom. One evening, as Aisha sat with Amma Ji on the bench, Watching the sunset, she said, "Amma Ji, you taught me the secret to happiness. I now know that joy doesn't come from money or things, it comes from a grateful heart." Amma Ji smiled and replied, "Child, when you fill your heart with gratitude, you'll find happiness in every moment, no matter the situation." This story teaches us that happiness is not found in material wealth or grand achievements but in the gratitude we cultivate in our hearts. Amma Ji's simple advice transformed Aisha's life and spread a wave of positivity throughout her community. We should always practice gratitude, for it is the key to finding joy in every situation, no matter how challenging.